Hello, everybody. Welcome to Making Waves, where we interview spectacular individuals doing amazing things in a difficult world. My name is Drew, and I'm a communications guy. I love to do podcasting, and I do also do voiceovers. And today's episode is called Bye Bye 2022. The questions we're answering is how to go in 2022 and what's up for 2023. Our guests are all of you. Over 200 people registered to participate in today's Making Waves, mostly through the Public Relations and Communications Professionals group on LinkedIn. And to be honest, I'm grateful. I'm overwhelmed by the response to the invitation. And what I think it means is that all of you out there are looking to connect with others and share your experiences, which was the purpose of my post in the first place. Anyway, I'm just going to give you some short remarks on what happened to me this year, and then hope to be able to invite many of you in one at a time, though, so that we can have a little chat and get to know each other and get to know others out there. Over the summer, I called a long-term wonderful coach friend of mine, and he suggested that I should cultivate or first find and then cultivate my tribe. I told him that I was having a hard time. I was in a very lonely space. My wife had gone. She'd taken a job for 3 months in a foreign country across the continent here in Europe. And so as she many times is my sounding board, I didn't have any idea, who I could share my ideas with. But also for a long time, I felt, how great it would be if I had more of a group of people, a group of confidants that I can share ideas about my work with. So the highlights of my year were at the kind of the spring, I quit working for a news website because the content news was kind of dragging me down. Then my wife went to work in a foreign country for 3 months. And with the help of my coach, I started thinking more seriously about what I want to do more of, less of, and what I wanted to stop completely. And the one thing that I knew was that I wanted to do more live radio. And of course, in the age of the internet, you don't have to have your own radio station or anything, or your own radio show on a station. So I started doing live shows on Twitter Spaces. I don't know if you know what Twitter Spaces is, but you can just start a live show just like this at the push of a button. Then I realized, I know a lot of great people on LinkedIn. I've got a captive audience, and also that I have a lot of people in my past, friends, amazing people that are doing amazing things. So I thought, wouldn't it be a great thing to do interviews with those people? Directly engage guests or allow guests to join and ask questions, etc. And let's share some good news. Let's put a spotlight on great people that are doing amazing things. Like I did a couple of weeks ago with my friend Leslie. She talked about what it was like getting around in Brussels as a disabled person, and also, gave us her personal story and what it's been like, and why she has launched the next phase of her career, which is, like figuring out the best ways to get around as a disabled person and live your life to the fullest. So with that said, that's my little share. Hello to everyone again out there. Thanks for joining. What I would like to do is to quickly invite someone into this Making Waves show and give people a chance. I'd have a quick conversation with them, give everyone a chance to tell us what happened to them in 2022 and what's up for them in 2023. So first of all, just to make it easy, I'm going to see if let's see. This is a little bit complicated at this point because I need to send somebody a link, and I hope that the people that I send the link to are actually watching the show today. So here we go. It would be great to know who's here. Is there anyone who has sent a comment so far that would like to be involved in a short interview? Could you please send me a comment right now, if you can? I will try Rana from India. Hold on, Rana. I'm going to try to send you a link to if I can find you in the list. Okay, Rana, I'm just sending you a message through LinkedIn, and the link will allow you to enter the show. Okay, I've just sent that to you, so I hope you can join us by just clicking on that link. Okay, I will try a couple of other people to get things going. Let's see. How about Nabiha Shahab joining from Jakarta? Okay, Nabiha, I am also sending you a link and encourage you to join. Let's see who else we have out there. Maybe we can try for Arti Devaraj. Let's see, from Milan. Okay, hopefully one of you has received the link. So, okay. Now Biha can only watch. Okay, no problem. No, thanks for telling me. Now, we are seeing if there's someone else that's going to join us in a moment. For the others, I think I've sent the link to Rana and Arti. If you can click on that link, I can put you on the live show. I'd love to talk to you, and we can hear what a wonderful, fantastic, horrible, somewhere in the middle year that you've had. Phil Lewis is in the room. Phil, perhaps you would like to join us. Let me send. I will send you a link through Facebook. Okay, I'm sending Phil Lewis a message. He would make it. Phil's a very interesting person and always has a lot of interesting things going on. It looks like Facebook's not letting me send him a message. So sorry for the slight technical difficulties. I was under the impression that there were so many people that were joining us today that we'd be able to easily, have people be on the show within seconds. But alas, I've committed a mistake, another mistake in 2022. But that's okay. That's okay because you got to make mistakes to move forward and learn things. Now, okay, I'm trying to send Phil. Okay, Phil, I've sent you the link. If you click on the link, I can let you into the live video. Phil is he's a visual gentleman, actually. He's involved in a lot of filmmaking. So if Phil can join us, it would be awesome. Sent out invitations to several people to show up so they can tell us how their 2022 was. See this weird glass I have? All right. Still waiting for people to show. Here we are. Phil Lewis is here. I'm adding him to the stream. Still waiting for people to show. Here we are. Phil Lewis is here. I'm adding him to the stream. Still waiting for Phil Lewis. So here we are. Phil Lewis is here. Did you turn down, or yeah, your Facebook or what? Something's.
Well, there's like a huge 10-second delay.
Right. Now I think it's good.
Like a huge 10-second delay.
Right. So, sir, welcome. As I understand, you're joining us from Georgia. Is that right? Georgia in the United States.
Yes, that's right. Atlanta, Georgia.
Could you tell everybody out there who you are? A little bit about yourself in a nutshell. Could you tell everybody out there
I'm hearing everything twice, so here we go. I'm going to mute myself for myself. Okay, so here we go. So I'm a professor of film directing and producing at Georgia State University, the Southeast's largest film program with 1,200 undergrads, master's degree, PhD. And I've been here for about 7 years. As you may or may not know, the United States' film and television production is now pretty much based in Atlanta. We produce more films and TV shows than New York or LA. And if you've watched television in the last 5 years, you notice that little peach at the end of your films. That little peach is the Georgia State tax incentives. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm the guy who's making all those people employed by giving them degrees and teaching them how to be film directors, film producers, film cinematographers, writers. And I thought I would join today because I'd like to hear what other people have been doing for this year, and also what they feel the plans are, everyone's plans, well,
Right.
what might be happening in the next year, or the next 5 years even. And yeah,
I don't know.
Look forward to this conversation.
Excellent.
Great to see you, Drew, by the way.
Lovely to see you, sir. Originally, I told a few people who were early to the show that originally that was more my motive, was to just connect even, with old friends, basically, give people a chance to connect, some of whom don't know each other. And nobody really replied. And now I was a little bit apprehensive today because, but I think everything's going to work out, even if it's much smaller than I had anticipated. So anyway, what happened basically is I switched the date, and I posted about it in a PR and communications group on LinkedIn. And it got over 300 likes, and 200 people said they were attending. Yeah, wait, you've been muted somehow. Did you hit your mute button?
I figured out what was going on. Had two windows open at the same time. That's why I was hearing it twice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Do we have 200 people here yet?
Well, I don't think so, but that's actually okay, because that was a little daunting, because my whole purpose was to talk to a few people and just say hello. I'm Drew. This is you, for example, or whomever, because I thought it was a great chance to connect. And I just think that the response, even if not that many people actually show, I understand, people have busy lives and they commit to all kinds of things and end up not showing up. So I definitely didn't, expect the whole 200 people to show up. But I think that just the response, especially in that group where it's like a dead zone, to be honest. Most posts that people put up get 1 or 2 likes. So I was shocked. I thought, well, wow, I must have struck a chord. People want to open up and talk about what happened to them. And it's without sounding like a pessimist, it's been kind of a crazy year, especially for people in Europe. It's weird when you have a big war going on. So without getting bogged down in that, be interesting to hear some people that I'm so happy you're here, but also yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from other people and what they're feeling and how that's affecting their personal lives, their work lives, etc.
I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people are pretty busy at this time and date.
Right.
Between the two holidays and Epiphany and everything else. Um, but at the same time, I think you did strike a chord. I think there are a lot of people who think there are a lot of people in the universe who are uh, trying to find community to talk about things that define things that they can, relate to, sort of like a touchstone. Because I think a lot of times between the politics of the universe and climate change and now the war, like you mentioned, and,
Right.
and people just trying to get back into their regular lives, and they
Uh-huh.
realize that their lives have really changed, and their sense of community has not changed. They really want to have
Right.
someone to talk to and maybe make new friends or just hear ideas that are outside their little circle.
Totally. Totally. Um, and I don't know how it is for you, but of course, it was amazing what we were able to do during the pandemic, and I did work with a lot of people over Teams chats, and uh, what's the what's the big one that everybody uses? That's the freebie.
The
Um,
Zoom,
Zoom, right,
yeah.
right. So actually, things, considering the circumstances, it was amazing that we could how much we could do through Zoom. So that was cool. Um, Now, of course, I don't know. Yeah, I guess there are things going on like revenge travel, and so people trying to make up for the offline experiences that they didn't have before. Um, but for me, and I think a lot of people, especially with people moving to small towns and things, um, I actually have good acquaintances in my village. So I walk my dogs a lot and run into a lot of people. But at the same time, yeah, there's a bit of a void, I have to say, um, and I'm actually surprised that I've taken up a little bit of the slack by reaching out to people online. So doing things like this, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. We all do appreciate that you sent out this link and that we're here today. I'd like to talk with Delight for a second. Hi, Delight. Our I shot a film in Ghana a few years ago, and it has been getting all kinds of interesting awards and stuff these days, and lots of film festivals. Um, there's a Accra Ghana Film Festival that's coming up right now, and I'm thinking about and putting that film in. And if you've not heard of it, it's called Women Are the Change, and it follows six sub-Saharan women who got educated, which is a difficult thing to do in Africa for women to get educated. And they've gone on to really make huge changes in their country. And so I spent 2 weeks in Ghana and with some friends and at the university there. And so it's really great to see you here. And just want to say hi. And Lucy, yeah, I think that's true. 50% of people don't attend.
Right.
It's you just forget about it, and you
Yeah,
think
no
this sounds
problem.
like a cool idea, and then like, whoa,
Sure, sure, sure. Phil, kind of pushing back a little bit to our start.
yeah,
Yeah, so given the pandemic and everything, I know things have been getting back to normal for quite what, I guess maybe a year now. They've been getting
yeah.
back to normal. But
Mhm.
so how you do like a yearly film? What was that like this year?
Well, actually, yeah, we had well, I started a film. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but I started a film as the pandemic started, and because we have this huge film program, and we had to put every one of our classes online now. Imagine how many people that is. Oh my God. So all these classes had to be online. We turned our my wife and I are both professors. We turned my our house into a film studio, and we recorded our lectures for every one of our classes and put them up online so people could watch them, and then held live things as well. So anyway, so I stopped doing it, um, and then sort of picked it up a year later, and we just filmed in May, and I'm editing uh, the film right now. It in the film industry, like a lot of industries, we had to just not tap the brakes, slam on the brakes,
Hmm.
because when you're on a film set, or like in any other situation where you have face to face contact with a lot of people, you get yourself in a lot of personal situations, and if and we were all going to get sick.
Hmm.
So the film, ironically, well, maybe not ironically, because we are big planners, the film industry came up with the first set of working protocols that we could actually do on set and continue to make our business. So
Hmm.
about 6 months into the pandemic, we finally got this protocol that we set up, and we have COVID officers on set even now today,
Hmm.
who are testing people on a regular basis. We had to film. We would test on Thursdays, get the results on Fridays, and shoot on Saturdays.
Wow.
And if you didn't get the test, you didn't come to work.
Hmm.
And so this protocol turned out to be pretty cool. It was really fun,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it allowed our multi-billion dollar industry, think about that,
Hmm.
to continue to work both here in Atlanta and actually around the world. You're in
Right.
Budapest, correct?
I'm not far from Budapest. I'm
Yeah,
about
well,
an hour,
I'm just
half an
saying
hour
that
away. Yeah.
another fantastic film site is Hungary, and the Vicens, and they adopted the same protocol, and I was there shooting Dune, which was during the pandemic as well.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
so
It's interesting. That was one opportunity that I had this year was to I had a starring role in a film. It was a bit part.
oh, did
Um,
you? Tell me about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's fun.
and it's funny because I think as I said at the beginning, I gave up something. I gave up a well-paying job. I'm a freelancer, so it was one of my jobs, but it's interesting to see when you give up something, um, how the void is somehow filled by something. I'm not saying that monetarily this did not fill the void, but the opportunity. So I had been in contact with a casting agency, and probably went to, I don't know, 5 different casting, whatever you call sessions,
Okay,
and
good.
and I was rejected every time. It was in my neighborhood in Budapest, so I wasn't, it wasn't like a big problem. But this time they said, "Oh, we really need you." And I said, "Well, I'd love to do it, but it's going to cost me to go to Budapest. And then if you're
Hmm.
just going to tell me no again, I don't really want to spend the money with the petrol prices lately and everything."
Yeah,
And anyway, so they said, "Oh, you can do the scene, um, do a video at home and send it to us."
I oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So I got the part, and it was 2 different shooting days, and a wonderful international cast. Although we were supposed to be a bunch of people working at IBM, because I don't know if it's a mini series or I think it's more than one episode, if I understand correctly. But anyway, it's about the IBM computer Deep Blue,
Oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
how it was playing the chess masters. And I can't remember how that turned out now, but anyway, that was one of the first supercomputers, and um,
That's
it's
correct.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I am technician number 2.
I love those titles. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
those titles.
But maybe this is interesting for other people out there, though. So if you have something like this happen to you, so I thought, a few years ago, I was like, oh yeah, that would be cool to be in a film every once in a while. But I think maybe I wanted it too much. And
Mm,
now that this summer I felt more open. I was by myself most of the summer. My wife was working in a different country,
right.
and I really was working on myself, exercise, meditation, really trying to just open myself up to possibility. And then they called me with this opportunity, and yeah, and then something finally happened with this. And now it's not something that I want to do full time or anything, but it's kind of like a hobby, or just like some different information, still kind of
Yeah.
a communications type of thing. um so yeah, using my brain in a slightly different way, but yeah, definitely I would enjoy being able to do that, every once in a while, just to get myself out of the house, get away from the computer screens, and among people, and having directors yell at you and things like this. So
Casting directors, get over,
right.
stand over there, stand
Mm,
over there, stop eating the food.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, well, I think it is. I think being on a set is exciting. I've been on way too many sets. I actually stop. I've tried to stop doing that.
Hmm.
Um, but it is. It's fun to be an extra, and everybody. I would suggest you do this, to be an extra, or be an atmosphere extra is even better. Atmosphere extras are people way in the background. You
Hmm.
hardly see their faces and stuff. Sort of like in crowds, because you get to stand there and meet some people, and then kind of watch the whole process, the
Right.
machine that the film industry is. Because if anybody's ever been on a set, um, there are 100, maybe 200 people
Mm.
behind the camera working on any particular day. How many people were on your shoot, Drew?
Yeah, dozens. I mean,
Right,
we,
right.
we had a lot of just extras as well.
Yes,
People sitting
yeah,
at computers and
yeah.
pretending to be in.
Be in the
Yeah,
big blue.
exactly,
Oh, that's
exactly. So
cool. Well, you should
yeah,
do it.
it
You
was very
should do it
cool.
more often. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
recommend anybody doing that. And
Right, right, right.
that's cool. We got a
Uh,
couple questions. Um,
yeah, yeah. Quite a bit of chatter going on here. Just hello, yeah, hello again to Lucy. I think you mentioned Lucy saying something, and
and
to
hi,
Esther Holbrook.
Esther. I haven't
Hi,
seen you
Esther.
in a while.
Right, 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 right. So we got some familiar faces popping up here. Esther, if you'd like to join us, you're welcome to. You can let us know in the chat. But what did I want to tell? I wanted to ask Phil, just to so we can kind of get you through your year.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get a sense of what happened. So if you were just to kind of skim through you just somebody just flashed 2022 in front of your eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was it for you? What happened then? And you could talk about things other than work as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of things happened. My dad passed away in May, and so that was a
Sorry to
tough
hear that.
spring. Yeah, he had lung cancer before. He had operation for it, and then it just came back, and his 85-year-old body couldn't handle it. And I was lucky enough to be there with him. So
Right.
he was up in Detroit. So that was a tough spring, but it also reminded me at that time, at that moment, that it's time to flash 20, make 2022 a little bit better. So
Mm,
I got back together. So I shot that film right after that, and
mm-hmm,
that I'm editing now. And that film is interesting all by itself. Um, I did come to Budapest this summer. I go every summer
mm-hmm,
with my wife, who's Hungarian, and that's how I had dinner with Esther once,
mm-hmm,
and a couple years ago, and then I started editing this, and then just trying to make the film in our film department more and more robust as far
mm-hmm,
as work is concerned.
mm-hmm,
I feel much closer to my family
mm,
than I ever have been.
mm-hmm,
My son graduated from college and got an interesting job, but the market for housing is impossible here in Atlanta.
Mm,
So he moved back into his house, which is, I think, a common thing for people who are finished with
mm,
fishing school, go back and live
mm,
with their parents. But
right.
we made the best of it. We always have. And then his girlfriend kind of moved in with them too. So we're a full
Mhm,
house again, very much of a full house.
mhm,
And then, but I want the subject of this film that I'm making right now is interesting. I would love to hear people's thoughts on it. I run across an 85-year-old Georgian woman who is who is transgender. She was born a man named
mhm,
James JC in 1940, and she got the surgery when it was illegal in
mm,
1967, and she has
mm,
been living and working as a woman since that day.
mhm,
And we interviewed her for a couple of days and got hours and hours and hours of footage of her. And
mhm,
um, at that same moment, there's been sort of a curiosity on one level, and maybe even a hatred of these of transgender or transsexual people.
mhm,
And I found myself sort of on this weird cutting edge of telling a story that is, it's, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. She's a wonderful
mhm,
person.
mhm,
And might be the first time on camera that someone actually will watch it and go, "Oh wow, I never talked to a trans person before," and
mhm,
now I have.
right.
And so anyway, so I've it's been weird because I'm usually not really on the cutting edge. I'm usually out there, you know,
Mhm,
doing my own thing,
right,
and
right.
all of a sudden we're having this conversation about a man who thought he was supposed to be a woman, and she's not gay. She dated men all her life,
Mhm,
and but as a woman, she's always been a woman. She just had, as her words, had the extra part that had to be removed.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
and that's
Wow,
her
wow.
story. So
Well,
yeah,
what a hot button issue too, right? In the United States, you have
yes,
these sort of gender wars almost. I don't.
yeah, totally.
I'm totally out of touch with it, to be honest. I
Well,
hear occasional
it's
things.
definitely happening around here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the, uh, Gender wars, yeah, and about just regular old cis women as well. Um,
Mhm,
Women just having to fight for stuff that they never had to be that we thought that fight was already over. For example,
right,
the
right.
backing out of Roe versus Wade is a good
Mm,
example. But we all
mhm,
also
mhm,
have the same problem with wages, wage equality, which, my God, I've been talking about that my whole life. You know,
mhm.
so yeah, so we got some serious gender issues and
Yeah,
whatnot. But
right, right.
yeah, so I'd like to hear anybody's thoughts on that. If
Mm, mhm,
um,
mhm, mhm. I'm going to try to invite some other people on. I don't know if anybody else. Melissa from Texas just recently wrote, and Esther, of course, you are also welcome. But I need to find a platform. Of course, I could send you a link on Facebook. But people out there, if you're interested on being just after Phil, let me know, and I can send you the link to be on the broadcast. And so, with all of that in consideration, Phil, what are you looking forward to, or what's going to happen for you this coming year?
well, as you probably can tell by my gray hair, I'm thinking about graduating from life, better known as retirement, and I'm thinking about moving to Budapest. So my Hungarian family, which is extensive, um, with my wife of 25 years, by the way, celebrating this year. Gonna buy a house there and spend the rest of my days learning Hungarian poorly. So, and
Wait a
then,
minute, you just left. What do you,
hey, I just left. Oh my
7
God.
years ago?
No, 17, 12 years ago.
What, you left 12 years ago?
Yes.
Oh my God.
We grew. We got
Seems like two
old.
minutes ago.
I
Yeah, seems
I
like 2 minutes
totally
ago.
agree. I
Full
totally agree.
disclosure, yeah. Well, Phil and I, we've been friends for quite a while, but yeah, we sort of got to be great friends, and then he moved. But he's been wonderful, and he lets me know when he's around so we can catch up when he's in town here in Hungary. But wow, and so yeah, how are you? How did you come up with this decision, or why is this happening now?
Well, well, first of all, my I'm going to say poor wife has followed me around from different jobs across around the world. We've lived in Australia and Nebraska and Virginia and New Mexico and Georgia, and th- all of this is away from her family. She's got 7 cousins, and they all have children. Um, so it's just time for her to go back and be back at home, and me
Mm,
to accommodate her. And
mm,
so I'm thinking about going to Budapest and maybe start a film school,
mm-hmm.
a directing and acting school, um, or just have coffee with you, man. So yeah,
Hey, we can do some live chats if you want.
we'll do that. I'll just take the bus out there. It'll be
All
great.
right, right. No, I'll pick you up. I'll pick you up.
No, but yeah, that's my that's what 2023 looks like. It looks like I'm gonna
Wow.
go start looking for a house
Oh.
and start backing out. I'm the one of the chief administrators for the school, so I gotta try to back out of that
Mm,
of
mm,
that job and just become
mm,
an old professor. You know,
mm.
one of those
Wow.
one
Well,
of those people.
congratulations on the big decision.
Thank you. It's a tough one. Do you think I should
Yeah.
do that?
Um,
What's your thoughts on what are your
well,
thoughts on that?
uh, things are kind of weird all over, you know. If you think about it, if we think too much about the political stuff, yeah, things indeed are weird here. Um, but with the proper mindset, wherever you are, there you are. So, yeah, everything's doable. What was kind of weird here is there was a lot of uncertainty. Well, there still is. Inflation here is high all over Europe, but it's sort of much higher here.
Mhm.
Which is, and so things like things have been very mysterious about sort of like they officially capped the price of gasoline for a while, and
Yep,
now they
yep.
let go of that, which is probably going to make the inflation even higher.
Mm.
So people seem to be, they don't seem to be complaining that much despite it, but it's, yeah, it's weird. And then of course the devaluation of the currency is kind of a drag as well if you're earning in foreigns, but that won't be a problem for you, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, it's not for me, but I understand the pain of that,
Mm,
of going to
right.
the store and having potatoes be 50% more than yesterday, and that's quite the shocker.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, that is the economics of it all are a
Mm,
huge issue. The problem, I was talking to my son, who, by the way, Ben is a financial wizard,
mm-hmm,
and he says the problem with inflation is that inflation doesn't back up. You don't
mm-hmm,
get out of inflation.
right.
You don't. No one lowers their prices after
Mm-hmm,
inflation is over.
mm-hmm,
Um, you It just doesn't happen that way.
right.
So the prices that you see are going to be the prices forever.
Mm-hmm,
And that's really tough.
right. Right.
It's tough for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the politics aside, we got the craziest politics in the whole universe. So um, just stop watching TV. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, let's hope it stays kind of, I don't know, less. I think at least it's at a less crazy point at this moment. No, I mean but
yeah.
it seems very precarious.
It's precarious, but it's still. I feel like it's a little bit stabilizing than ever before.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, than in the last 3 or 4 years.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
I would
Right.
love to address something that Melissa from Texas was talking about.
Sure, sure. Can I tell
That
you, hold on just a second. Can I just say one thing? And
yeah,
Melissa, if you're out, I didn't see Melissa's profile, but what I have done is in the chat or the conversation for the event on LinkedIn, I've shared the link where anybody could pop up right now, and I can put them on the screen. We'd love to have another participant. So
sure.
please don't be shy. Hit the link. It's not weird or anything. And you could ask a question directly to Phil or to me, or well, say whatever you
And
want. Well, say
contribute,
whatever you want.
contribute.
Right, right. So anyway, so just to everyone might see that I've just put that link on the
Yep,
LinkedIn
I
page
see it.
for this
That
event.
looks good.
So go for it. Click on it if you want to join us, and I can bring you in. Anyway, go. Sorry, what I interrupted you, Phil. What were you about to
Oh,
say?
just Melissa was saying that the 2 years off sort of spoiled her, and that um, sh that things are getting busier and on the
Hmm.
move. And
Hmm.
I want to address that. I think a lot of people change the way they go through their lives, and they've really enjoyed having to control over their own time and
Hmm.
control over when they're going to work and when they're going to relax. And I think that the people were still very productive and
Hmm.
got things done
Hmm.
despite not having the 9 to 5
Right,
that
right.
that and I live like that as well. I'm more of a 24/7 and then take off 2 weeks type of person.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so this is I totally agree with you, Melissa, that we kind of some people are going to really engaged and say, "Yeah, I can't wait to get things back to normal or whatever normal is for them."
Hmm.
And then a
Hmm.
lot of other people who are just going, "No." I have a lot of students, for example, who say, "No, I like taking those online classes."
Right,
And
right.
I have to kind of consult them and tell them, you can't be a film producer or film director and
Mm.
take online classes.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm. Mm.
It's the only thing I could possibly teach you
Right,
is
right.
how to write a screenplay.
Right, right. Hey, guess what? Melissa is here on the stream, so I'm just going to
Oh,
add her.
fantastic.
See what happens here. Hold on. Blinding flash. Hello, Melissa.
Good morning,
Good
Good
or,
morning,
morning.
or or
Melissa.
afternoon, or evening, wherever
Yeah,
you are.
wherever you are. Hi.
Hi
Where are
there.
you, Melissa,
I
by
am
the
in
way?
Texas, in Dallas, the Dallas area.
Dallas area. Great.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Cool. Hey, Melissa, you match my logo up there.
Perfect,
Thank
perfect.
you very much. So you wrote the comment, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying, I actually started a new gig in
Mm-hmm.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
And, that first year of just getting acclimated in the corporate environment and learning the company culture and all of that kind of thing. So that was kind of a blur. And then 2020 started, and I thought, okay, I think I've got a handle on this. I'm ready to go into 2020 and, be a marketing rock star. And
Mm-hmm.
we were actually at a trade show, a pretty big trade show in the construction industry called ConExpo, in Las
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, Nevada, and everything was kind of unfolding those first couple weeks of March while we were there, and we were like, well, should we stay? Like, are we going to be able to get
Right.
home? Because nobody knew at that time
Uh-huh.
what was going on, and so we did actually end up coming back a day early. And then, everything kind of hit the fan here. And then everything just went dormant. Like, the construction industry is very conservative, very kind of old school. So we didn't really do like work from home, or, we weren't even
Mm.
really structurally set up to do that. And then, like, one day, someone in the office got exposed to COVID, and then we all get sent home. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what in the world? And then it was, a year and a half to 2 years of just kind of relearning how to do business in this
Mm-hmm.
new environment. And so
Mm-hmm.
2022 it definitely doesn't feel like 2019 felt, but
Hmm.
I do feel like some more of those rhythms coming back. Like
Hmm.
I said in the comment, we are traveling more, we're doing more events and getting together and things like that. And 2023 is already shaping up to be quite busy. Like I'm traveling every month until May,
Hmm.
until
Wow.
June
Wow.
actually, and then I'll
Uh-huh.
have a break in July. And
Hmm.
so yeah, just really learning how to be an effective marketer, an effective communicator in
Hmm.
this new normal.
Right.
Because it's a lot of this that goes on. I mean, honestly, in 2018 or 2019, I don't think I'd ever would have turned on my camera and been on this with you guys.
Hmm.
But it's
Right.
like, so we're so used to being on camera, on the computer. Now it's just like, oh
Sure.
yeah, no
Sure.
big deal.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you've been with the same company then, if I understand correctly, this whole
Yes.
time. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, so quite a bit of transformation,
Hmm.
and working, and now we're kind of on a hybrid situation where I go into the office a couple days a week because we do have storefronts and we have employees, frontline employees that are obviously
Hmm.
just, the heroes of the organization because they've powered through the whole thing.
Hmm.
So I'm usually in the office or at one of our storefronts helping out to provide marketing support there. So
Mhm, mhm, mhm. What, on kind of on the nitty-gritty level, could you, give us a sense of, maybe the kinds of things that you're involved in doing?
oh, just really, I mean, anything you think marketing, advertising, we're involved in. The traditional
Mhm,
stuff like print,
mhm,
trade shows, customer events. That was another thing that our customers really missed is, being able to come in and get together with us. And so we have a lot of kind of loyalty customer retention events like that to keep
uh-huh,
managing the brand. And
right,
so we do all of that kind of thing. And then, of course, social media, you've got to be on there. It's like being back in the yellow pages back in the day. You've got to have a social media presence somewhere. Like
right,
I don't think everywhere. Like for us, it doesn't make sense for us to be on Twitter.
mhm,
But we're on a couple of the major outlets
mhm,
to promote our brand there. And then we've really enhanced and increased our investment in digital,
mhm,
because of COVID, because so
Because of
many
that.
people are, I mean, and
right,
it was already that way, right? People were researching um, online for purchases and things like that. But I think COVID just really amplified that like so much more.
mhm,
So yeah, so this year in 2023, we're going into it and even increasing our investment even more over 2022 because there's just so much value in that. And my kind of prediction is that in the construction world, it will be and maybe the next 5 to 7 years, it won't be unheard of to be able to buy a machine online. Like
mhm,
you do with a car now, where you
right,
can,
right,
just buy everything online and they deliver it to you. I mean, I think that's the
mm,
way it's going
uh-huh,
in the construction equipment world as well, because as our demographics of our customers change, our
Mhm.
business model has to change a little bit to fit
mm,
that.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, so many generational things like that, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a
Go
question,
ahead, go
Melissa?
ahead.
When
Go
you went
for it.
back to the office, was there how did things go there? Did people were they reluctant to come back?
Well, we did have some people that were, and they actually didn't require us to come back until September of 2021. Now, if you wanted to come back, um, you could come back, but you had to schedule because they only wanted so many people in the office
Yeah.
at a time, and they didn't, just to kind of maintain crowd control, if you will. And so like I went back early because I'd go in a couple days a week just because of my personal life. It was just like, okay, I need some human interaction. So I would go in, but it was kind of a ghost town. And then in September 2021, they asked everybody to come back on a hybrid schedule, but still on a it's gone through kind of our office coordinator to manage the load. So there's never 100% of the people in the office at the same time. And I really don't think that it ever will be, you know?
Wow.
Mm,
Yeah, so it
mhm,
really was permanent. Yeah,
Mhm.
wow.
Mhm.
Hmm, interesting.
fantastic.
What went well for you in 2022?
Oh gosh, so many things. I mean, we did a lot of video. That's
Mm,
become really important, and that's not
mhm,
an area that I had just a ton of experience in. And so, being able to go out to our customers' job sites because then they were open for us to, come out and interact with them and
mhm,
see what they're doing, see how they're interacting with our brand, and capture that on video to really create some nice customer testimonials. I
mhm.
mean, we did a couple of them that were just very, very popular once we released them on we post them on YouTube and then promote them on our other channels, and
Mhm.
just got a lot of kind of that viral stickiness as a result of that. And so that was really something, to be proud of in the
Mhm.
in the midst of all that's been going on, and just to
Right.
hear, that our customers are still sticking with us. I
Mm.
mean,
Mm.
because like with I know you guys were talking about politics a little bit, like a lot of our customers towards the end of this year have gotten a little hesitant, especially right before the election. How's the economy going to be? Are we going into a recession? Like what,
Mm.
and so
Yeah.
for our customers to still keep coming back to us and purchasing from us, I mean, we're truly grateful for that.
Mhm.
And then to be able to memorialize that on video to promote our brand has just been great. So that's
Mm.
probably the biggest thing, that I'm really, really proud of, and really,
Mhm.
really happy to bring some of those events back too and people to come.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
that's the thing.
Yay.
Like a lot of times you bring an event back and people are still a little bit hesitant, but we still had, not as much as we did in 2019, but we still had enough to put on a nice event.
Mm.
So that's been
Mhm.
great.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then even internally as well, we have a really nice Christmas party for our staff. Our company is about 400 employees, and so we were able to bring our Christmas party back this year and have a really nice time. And so that was
Right.
that was great from an internal perspective.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I saw a few Christmas parties, sort of finally back on
Yep.
here in Central Europe as well.
Yeah, yeah. It will be interesting to see, how things progress like for next year.
Mm.
I do wonder, like with the economy, and like you guys were talking about inflation, and the prices go up and they don't go down. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
it'll be,
Mm.
people are having to make, strategic choices about where they spend their expendable income. So
Right. Right. Right.
we will see.
Here in Hungary in the past year or two, the price of building materials has, you know, you could be quoted something, and then by the time it's, time to execute whatever building something, the price of
Yeah,
the materials has totally changed. So
right.
everybody's
Interesting.
shocked. It's not
Right.
everybody can do it, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I kind of felt that, from a personal level, because my fiance built a home, and it was completed in January of
Hmm.
2022. And so we've just kind of been following, even though his home is finished, we've just been kind of following the trends and like seeing the prices. And then of course with the interest rates continuing to rise, and it's just,
Hmm.
I mean, even in Texas, because I mean, before COVID, we had a pretty good housing market. That's why a lot of folks were relocating here. And so
Hmm.
now, I mean, we're getting to be just as expensive as, on the East and West Coast. And so just
Right.
because, like you said, building materials, I mean, and then even for someone who owns their home already, when you want to insure it, your insurance rates are going up,
Hmm.
because if you have a total loss, it's going to cost so much more to
Right.
replace whatever in your house. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting times. But
Hmm.
I do think everything's a cycle, and I think
Sure.
we'll cycle out of this eventually. We just gotta get through this. What they say,
Right.
tough
Right.
times don't last, tough people do. So,
Right. 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 Right.
That's great,
Excellent.
Melissa.
Excellent.
That's a good saying for 2023.
Well, so what about that? Yeah, what's your strategy for next year, Melissa? Do you have any big marketing plans, or even personal plans?
yeah, so from a marketing and business standpoint, we did some planning at the end of this year, and we're going to launch some things in the early parts of Q1 for us. And our all of our themes and our promotions are really going to be around what we call life cycle marketing. So
Mhm.
customers buy big equipment from us, but they're not trading in or buying new equipment as quickly just because of the supply chain issues that happened as
Mhm.
a result of COVID. And it's been difficult for the people that manufacture our machines to get chips and things like that. So the assembly line is running a little bit slower. So we're really going to be promoting some of our ancillary products, things like parts and service to help promote. So we've built some campaigns around that where we're not pushing our what we call whole goods, our equipment in
Mhm.
front of customers, because we don't really have things right on the lot where they can
Mhm.
come and buy it that day. It's a pre-order situation for a lot of
Mhm.
things. And so I'm really, and I guess that's another thing I'm really proud of, is for us to be able to kind of pivot and come up with some new things to
Mhm.
promote and keep our customers engaged for 2023. So
Right.
really excited about that. And then just from a personal perspective, I got engaged on Christmas, so I'll be planning a wedding
Congratulations.
too. Thank you. So yeah, so that'll be something big that'll be happening in my personal life
Right.
in 2023 as well. So
Excellent.
so a lot
Wow.
of exciting things going on. I'm going to be a busy gal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. You too. I'm just about to add Isabo, if I'm pronouncing your name
Awesome.
correctly, to the stream. Hello. Hello, Isabo.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I
Where are
do
you where are
Hi.
you
will
where are you contacting us from?
from South Africa.
From South Africa.
I, yes, I live in a small
Excellent.
town, Wellington. It's about an
Wow.
hour from Cape Town.
Hmm.
Yes.
Very
Now,
nice.
I get confused. Now, is it summer there now, or is it warmer?
It is
I mean,
high
I know
summer.
it's always
Hot.
warmer there, right? But what season is it?
It's high summer.
It's high
I,
It's
summer. It
Oh,
is. Okay, I
it's
yes.
was
yes.
as
right.
hot as it
Okay.
gets.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Is it wet there at this time of year, Isabel?
No,
No, it's
it's
kind
more
of a.
of a winter rainfall area that we live in, right at the south.
Mhm.
And some other areas to the north, they have more rain during summer as well.
Right. Yeah. Excellent.
Interesting.
Well,
Interesting.
welcome. Welcome.
Yes,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thanks, firstly, to Drew for organizing this.
Oh, thanks for
Yeah.
attending. Thanks for attending.
And I did get the notification to remind me. And yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Well,
congratulations, Melissa.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
right,
so much.
right. I was nervous. I think I had stars in my eyes about oh my God, 200 attendees, but and I can't see. There may be some people who are watching, whom I don't know, where we can't tell that they're watching, but it doesn't say that. It actually says there's only one person watching now, but that's impossible because I know of several people that are watching. So who knows actually how many people are attending? But anyway, I'm grateful. My whole intention was quality over quantity, and I think we're getting that to people from different places. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, for me, it's really a first. So Melissa says she's
So,
Cool.
comfortable on a camera. I'm not really comfortable on a camera yet.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I do is I have a light, and here I can change the. Now I'm a little, maybe it's a
blind
little bit
yourself.
warmer. Yeah, I'm blinding myself, but I try to be illuminated because it's starting to get dark here. So Isabel, tell us a little bit. Did you hear about us in the PR group, or where are you coming
yes,
from?
yes,
What do you
saw it.
do?
I'm a writer and an artist, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm also an end-to-end marketer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also just been retrenched.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'm very excited about 2023.
Mm-hmm.
New life.
Mm-hmm.
After
And
5 years at a company, and
right.
13 years at another company before that, and
Uh-huh.
now I'm 46 years old, and
Right.
I'm working communication, and I don't know whether it's time to do it on my own.
Mm.
And I
Excellent.
don't know
Well,
if
you become an expert at this point,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. So what industry do you work for?
I I've been in different industries, but mostly in non-profit sector. In the over the last 5 years in agriculture and the wine industry mainly, but also before that in heritage tourism, destination marketing, museums. Yeah. So
Wow. Nice. Wine industry.
South
yes,
African wine industry is huge.
yeah, I'm still working for Sauvignon Blanc, South Africa, cultivar group. Sauvignon Blanc is the cultivar that's the best seller in South Africa and also most exported. And we have something exciting happening next year. There is a very big and prestigious international Sauvignon Blanc competition, the Concours Mondial de Sauvignon, and it's been taking place. Next year is the 14th year, and it's always been in Europe. And now it's coming to South Africa, and I'm also
cool.
part of that
Very
team.
cool.
So
Nice.
yes,
Wow. Well, that sounds like could attract a very international grouping of people.
yes, we have about 45 international tasters coming from all over the world, and they will come to South Africa for a week in March. They will be based in Franschhoek in the Cape Winelands, and they will adjudicate the wines, about 1,000 wines that are entered from all over the world. And then we also have an interesting tour for them every day to learn more about South Africa and about the South African wine industry. So yeah, not only about Sauvignon Blanc, but yeah, to showcase South Africa and the wine industry. And yeah, it's very important, I think, for South Africa to export more wine. We also have difficulties with our harbors and shipping, etc. But yeah, I think 2023 will be a better year for everyone, and yeah, we need the rest of the world to know about South African wine. And yeah, I grew up in a wine farm, so it's part of my heritage.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yes.
So what
And
about for you? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say it's so nice to speak from people to people from all over the world.
Totally.
And that's what COVID was hectic. I had COVID twice. My dad was in hospital, but he turned 81 a few days ago, so he made it. His business did not make it. It also brought our family closer together, like Phil said, with his family. But it also changed that I can now work for an international company. I could work remotely. I could work hybrid. I could never even work in Cape Town because to drive to Cape Town, the traffic is just crazy. And now, yeah, I've got lots of different opportunities for 2023. So.
What about you, Melissa or Phil? Do either of you have a long commute in the States?
Oh,
Well, where are you, Phil? I'm in Texas, so everything's spread apart in Texas, so everything's a
Atlanta.
commute.
Our campus is downtown Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
I travel 14 miles, and it takes typically 45 minutes. Luckily, I do not have to go in every single day because the way school works. But yeah, how long is your commute, Melissa?
Yeah, so where I am now, it takes me about 30 minutes to get to work. It's about 17 miles. It takes me about 30 minutes. But when I get married later this year, my fiance lives out in this small town that's west of Fort Worth, and my office is near Dallas. So it's gonna be a 50-mile, over an hour commute for me on the days that I go in. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just painful to think. Oh
Yes,
my God.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't. In Atlanta, I don't know whether most people don't know this, but we're somewhere around 7 million people, and we will be 9 million people in the next 15 years. So we are growing like crazy. The roads, we're having to widen them. We're building like crazy. It's just lots and lots of people. But they're all on the roads because everybody moves from downtown into the suburbs. I mean, in the past, or like the last 20 years. But but what's happening is that most people are willing to spend the extra money to live downtown, so they don't have to commute because the roads are it's just crazy. It's like LA crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how bad it is. It's
Yeah.
just a fabric of 9 lanes of traffic going very slowly toward the city in the morning and reverse on the way back out. And so,
Goodness.
Right.
yeah,
Wow.
so, yeah, growth. I don't think the world manages growth very well. I don't think that we have figured
Right.
that out.
Right. Right.
Do we all agree?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we don't manage it well here in Texas. And then with just the exponential growth that we've experienced, it's just we're not ready for it. And so that's kind of been a good thing that's come out of COVID, because a lot of companies that weren't open to a hybrid or remote situation, they are now, and that does help out, because I mean, we wouldn't even consider relocating to my fiance's home if I wasn't on a hybrid situation, because doing that 5 days a week would just be brutal, you know.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so I mean, it's been really kind of crazy here, because what's happened here in Texas is people have relocated here, and they relocate to the city, like, so like Dallas and Fort Worth, the main cities, and then it's pushed the people who were here out to the suburbs, out to the country, like, so and so it's been a kind of an interesting phenomenon to see, how this has happened, and how places that were open farmland and things like that are now, they're building homes and building businesses and things like that.
Right. 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 Isabel, I'm just curious, in South Africa, is it also the case? I can imagine is just car is king. Like, is there any good public transportation, or is it just all automobiles?
Public transport is really sad in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's mostly not safe. In inner town, you can use taxis. Also, it's become quite expensive with the fuel price. Yeah, I know people who pay about half of their salary goes towards the traveling cost, and that's the trains, the infrastructure, also malicious damage. I think it's really difficult out there for anyone who does not have their own transport, or who does not have a license yet. That's really difficult. It's
right. Wow.
At least we've got Uber, but not in my town.
Right.
That's great.
Wow.
So Isabel, you said you're going to be starting on your own, kind of starting your own thing. Tell us how that's going to go for you. What kind of planning do you have to make for that?
Yes, I'm really still in two minds. I do have some contracts at the moment, or some clients at the moment. I told you about the Sauvignon Blanc Association and the wonderful project that we are working on. Yes, and maybe it is time to open my own office in Afrikaans, which is my first language.
Right.
The word office is kantoor, and that's also my personal hashtag, kantoor, because it also means you can do something, you can make magic. That's what it literally means. So it's a can-do attitude.
Okay.
Like.
And yes, I think you can see I'm pretty much still thinking about all of this. It's wonderful to have this downtime, family time, end of the year, new year, to think about all of this, read about what other people are doing, talking to people like you talking to people who have done this, have gone on their own. For some it works, for some it don't. Yeah, so I don't know what advice you've got.
Well, have you thought about, like the tiny things that you could do to move things forward? Have you taken some tiny steps?
Yes, definitely. A while ago already, I started writing freelance, and yeah, I think sometimes I think you only need a typewriter, whether that's your phone or a computer, and a camera, and I'm in business. Those are my tools. Those are my tools, and yes, I do enjoy, as I said, working in the nonprofit environment and feeling that I'm making a change every day, and it's wonderful to work with younger people as well. I enjoy that tremendously. We can learn so much from one another. I also have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old son and daughter, and yes, I learn from them every day. Not afraid of anything on the technology side, or to voice their opinions, and yeah, it's I think it's very satisfying to work with younger people and teach them the tricks of your trade, and but yeah, sometimes you learn more from them as well. So
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you definitely. I'm deeply steeped in middle age now, so I'm very set in my ways. But yeah, there are a lot of things out there to learn, and sometimes I have to let go of my maybe. What am I trying to say? I have to suspend my disbelief, because I think yeah, really there are so many things that we can make possible, and it's also also about sharing as well. Just like you said, that's why it's great to. If I think about, I was thinking about this, so I had all kinds of things I wanted to say today, and I didn't know whether I'd get around to saying them, but when you think about who you were as a child and the things that, were influences, people, things, experiences. And one thing that I used to do, I don't know if you all did this too, but I used to build a fort. Of course, I was an only child, and I would build a fort, say in a closet with a sliding door. And sometimes I would have like Christmas lights inside, whatever my favorite things were. Put like a record player, and my mother had a shortwave radio, or it had many different bands, so you could listen to international things and international time clock and things like this.
Yeah.
And so I would sit in the dark and tune the radio to try to pick up some kind of strange voice or noise or whatever. And I definitely think it's things like that. That's part of the reason that I want to do something like this. So if you think about it in so many ways, this is just like having your own radio station, or having like a short wave. I don't know if everybody out there knows what short wave is, right? But if you had a radio station that was short wave, you could literally broadcast all around the world and have people listening to you. Yeah. So anyway, that's my middle-aged blah blah.
I would like to ask. I would like to ask everyone a question though. How much time a day, or when is your best time for you to get creative and sort of like put aside stuff in order to let your mind expand to do something or think of something different? It seems like Isabeau needs to do this a lot these days, because with several children, and it's hard to get that creative spark to set you aside to make you to enrich your life and your business and your family. How does that work for you? When is your best time? When do you do it, or do you not do it? I guess that's another question.
Yeah, it's kind of that's a really great question. And I think for me, I get like inspiration, I think, and in the evenings in my quiet time as I'm kind of
Mm.
settling down, but then I act on that best like in the mornings when I'm fresh, I've gotten a good night's rest. And so yeah, I think during the day, my mind is like too busy thinking about I've got to do this thing and check this thing off the list, to really give myself space for that. So I think that's why the inspiration comes in the evening once things have quieted down.
Make sure you take advantage of that time.
Yes, and so I am the person, I mean, and this is probably something, because I guess I'm approaching middle age too, but like I still keep a notebook on my nightstand at night so if it comes I can write it down. I'm sure like kids today just text it out on their phone, but yeah,
Good
so
for
yeah,
you.
I write it down so I
Mm.
can act on it. I'm in the morning when I'm at 100%.
Mm. Mm. Everybody, hold on to that thought for just a second. I want to add a person named Ping to our room here for one thing, and then I have something to say about that. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Ping.
Hello.
Hello, Ping.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. Ping, did you just hear what Melissa said? Having a notebook.
Yeah.
You did. Okay. I just want to add something to that, and then I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And I just want to give everybody a hack. I do read all kinds of things, personal development things, and things to make my business better, things to figure out exactly what I would like to do, etc. So I'm just constantly reading such things. And the one thing that's been a game changer for me this year is that whenever I can't figure out how I'm going to solve something, I have a little notebook, and in the notebook, I write a note to my own subconscious.
Mm.
So I write, "Dear subconscious, I have this problem, or there's this thing that I would like to do, or whatever. Could you please help me do this?" And it's miraculous. I think it's mostly about kind of giving yourself permission to not be blocked.
Mhm.
But it's just really weird. So either it really helps me solve it, or it takes away some of the anxiety, away from the problem that I'm trying to solve. So somehow I've been doing this for months now, and it's crazy, I know, but it's interesting, and
Drew, I think what you've done is the phenomenon of, if you want to remember or think of something, to not think about it. It happens all the time in life. So what you've done is offloaded it
right.
so it's not in your front of your mind, but it's sort of way in the back somewhere, and that's where you
Right.
solve a lot of problems.
Right. Well, this is.
I write a lot of
Go ahead.
scripts, so I solve problems through writing of scripts. So I literally have characters do dialogue to solve problems for me, and I write it in script form
Right.
because that's sort of like my thing. So
Cool.
but I think that it is a miracle. It's a miracle of our brains.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Anyway, and I'm sorry, Ping, for putting off your introduction. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're connecting from.
Yeah. I'm here in Netherlands, and I'm a Chinese. And I just moved here 2 months ago. And
Wow.
I think 2022 has been a very eventful year for me, because for the first 8 months, I spent the first 8 months in Shanghai. And I think you all know that Shanghai went through like a really rough spring. 3 months lockdown. Everyone is not allowed to go outside of the apartment. And me and my husband was locked in our apartments for like almost 100 days, and we get COVID test every day. And at that point, I was really worried about like the food, literally, and drink. Yeah, all the basics of life,
Right.
things that you were not worried about at all, and suddenly it becomes a problem of the core of your life. And during that time, it was really difficult to work from home because a lot of projects were delayed, and especially in PR industry. If you cannot have offline events, if you cannot seed your products to the influencers, then everything has to stop. But during that period, I think we did roll out a online event about made on iPad. Like people can submit their work to us, and we can work with the social media platforms to see the winners, who are the winners, and for the winners, their design can be selected and put on the online shop of the transit car companies. So we work with three biggest transit car companies in China, and they serve overall like 60 million people in China. So we managed to get like 400% more downloads on the Earth Day. So I think it's people get to know more about like green transit and stuff like that, smart payments.
Cool.
Yeah. And after that, I relocated back to Beijing because that's where my home is, and I lived there for a couple months to get ready to move to the Netherlands. And yeah, so right now I'm here in the Netherlands and still working for my previous company as a contractor, and same time
Nice.
I'm looking for a job here in the Netherlands. But I swear this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, because you really, even though that I have already got like years of experience and I served like clients that I'm really proud of, but here in this setting, you really have to prove to people that what you are capable of. And the biggest disadvantage of mine, which is not being able to speak so much Dutch, has shut the door of for like tons of opportunities. So like I think it's just time for me to keep telling myself, be patient, calm down, and then wait for longer. Yeah.
Sure. How did you make this big decision?
Well, because of my husband. So we were living in China, and we realized that China is not really a good place for him to like develop his career, because he's working on acoustics, and that's not really it's not really like a robusting industry in China. So he's always been trying to like going back to Netherlands and work with people that he's familiar with. And and then I thought, well, he made a decision for me 3 years ago, giving up everything he had in the Netherlands to move in with me in China. So now it's time for me to show the same amount of courage, and then I can do the same thing for him. So here I am.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's so in general though, what's your impression? How are you feeling there?
Well, it's just so quiet. In China, in Beijing or in Shanghai, you live together with another 20 million people, and right now, you only live with like 90,000 people in this little town. Yeah, it's so much difference, but I think I'm that kind of people that is quite focused. All that I want is to get a job that I enjoy, and then be with him. So
Awesome.
the rest
have
is
you
not so much important.
Right. Have you thought though of whether you continue your relationship with your employer, or I mean, I'm sure there must be some sort of business that Dutch companies have with China. No, is there a way that you're able to use your own personal background to be able to help businesses in the Netherlands?
Uh, uh, yes and yes. So for the first question, I think my employment with my previous employer is good because it offers me like some income at this stage, and it's a good like transition that I can look for a new opportunity while still having some income. And as for my background in China and then how it applies in the Netherlands, I think, yeah, it definitely would help. But things bit different in public relations because unless you're applying for a position requiring specifically your media network in China or Asia, unless that,
Right.
you are basically like starting from scratch in here in Netherlands because they would expect you to have like a very developed media network in at least Europe, this market, so you can start to work immediately.
Right.
And so that's a bit a limitation for me. So I think my media network in China could definitely help a lot of companies to tell their stories in Chinese market, but right now I haven't seen so many opportunities like that. And for the companies in the Netherlands who wants to like explore the Chinese market, I think the first batch of squad that they need as salespeople or business development managers, and then I think on the second tier, then is communications professionals.
It's definitely interesting to be thrust into such a situation, and you start to think about, well, what are the skills that I have? What are the needs in the new place that I'm in? I do a lot of thinking about this just as an international person, because I've lived abroad for about 3 decades. I don't know what any of the rest of you think of that.
Well, it's just in an international setting, you have to constantly try to prove to people what you're capable of, and that is difficult. It's not like we have an interview, we have a conversation, and then I'll just bring everything I have to the table, and then you can see it. Nowadays, it's like you apply for a job, and then like for 99% of those jobs, they say, unfortunately, we're not going to proceed with you, so you don't even have a chance to show them what you have. And yeah, that's the most challenging part. And I think in terms of like, right now I don't have a European media network, but well, I can establish that in a couple of months. But the thing is that people tend to believe that if you have already had that, that's better. So I think they're a bit reluctant to give you the opportunity for you to develop in this position. They hope that you have already got whatever they need. And personally, I totally understand that because I used to manage like a team of intern team, and when I was selecting candidates, I hoped that the candidate had the experience of like communications or public relations, and that is really not so fair for those students, college students who wants to try what they can do in this industry, but it's just you're the victim of this mindset, and you're also like creating this bit of unfair situation.
Well, you're up against almost everybody is up against international law as well. Each country, their visa requirements for you to become, for example, come into the United States. If we were to hire you on a regular work visa, we would have to prove that you are better at doing whatever it is that you're doing than any other American.
Yes,
And
yes.
that is
Really
that is a barrier to hiring good
Mm.
people internationally.
Right.
And does everybody run into that same thing in the Netherlands, for example? Did you have to get a visa for that?
Well, I'm here because of my husband. He's
Okay.
Dutch, so as his spouse, I do have the right to work here. But
Right.
I think instead of stating in the law, I think it's kind of people's mindset that if I'm hiring a person who works in communications, then, well, you'd better be able to speak multiple European languages, and you better have this and have that, and then in the end, on paper, I'm ranking like really low in list.
What about in South Africa? I'm sorry, Drew.
Go ahead. No problem, Phil.
What about in South Africa? What if you had to hire a Hungarian wine producer down there? That would be a problem, wouldn't it be?
Not so much, I think, especially in the wine industry. It's quite open to work, especially for especially winemakers as well. I know a lot of winemakers who go and work overseas to get some experience, whether in America or in Romania, and likewise. I think probably a bit more difficult in South Africa. But I might have 2 pieces of advice or some suggestions for Ping. I don't know if it would at all help, but I suppose you do have a portfolio of your work that's available online, maybe, or have you thought about something like that?
You mean applying for jobs in a different country?
No, if you whether currently as you're applying in the Netherlands for PR work, that's also my background. I've been retrenched recently. I don't know if you've been part of the conversation when I told that, and yes, I've now built up a bit of a portfolio of examples of my work, not only from the past 5 years for the company that I've worked, but also in my previous work, and whether that's on the design side, or on the strategy side, or social media, or writing specifically as well. And a few days ago, I translated a story that I wrote in Afrikaans, but I applied to an international company, so I first translated this story in English. And I'm very happy that it's now in my portfolio, and a lot of my friends who can't speak Afrikaans can also read the story. But I think you said, how do you prove to people that you can do the job? And I think a portfolio is a powerful way to do that. I also include feedback from clients or from my colleagues, and some facts, and even feedback from journalists about how I help them, or the stories that I pitched. And it's more about explaining what you do and sharing some of that. I don't know if that would help you.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be helpful. Yeah, as the additional documents you upload online, and then show them before they ask.
Yes, I built my portfolio on Canva, canva.com, which is a free program that I like. And you don't even need I work on the pro version as well, but you don't need that to build the portfolio. And I just use that link. I made a shorter link, a bit.ly, and that's the link I give to my potential employers or when I apply, and I can still change that portfolio all the time and add more to it as I've got time. Or so that was the one thing. And then the other thing was also translation, because I assume you did a lot of your work in other languages, not necessarily in English. If you've got time, translate something as well, if you think that's
all the time
very
in the
best
world.
example. Do you have time?
Yeah, I think I'll try to start to build a portfolio.
Sounds like a good idea.
It's it's one of the first things I say to graduating people who are going into the industry is that your entire social media platform, your portfolio, everything that you've done needs to be laid out there for people to see. It needs to be clear about what you did, which a lot of people leave that part out, you know.
Right.
And it needs to. I don't want you to embellish it, but it needs to be very clear that this was successful. Um, uh, I it's easy for me because I make a movie and it gets into a film festival, it wins an award. There, I'm successful, right? But now you have to figure out ways of other people looking at your portfolio and saying, how is this successful and how could it make our company successful? Sort of like what we used to call chain lightning, where one person's lightning can be your lightning. So who have you worked for example, who has been really successful, and can you put that in there? Or something that you've worked on that maybe you were just a ancillary to the project, but you were part of it and it was really super successful. So think about those types of get creative.
Mhm. I would just share one thing if it's okay. Maybe this is something you could think about, and I'm curious about feedback from everybody else if what you think about this. I haven't done this, but I have a million ideas like this about things. Oh, I would do this, to make contacts, and it probably is a good idea, but it does take a lot of work and an investment. But so, for example, I am in a stage where I'm a little bit frustrated with the market that I work for because it's kind of tough economic times. So, for example, when I do copy editing and proofreading and anything really, of course, I do voiceovers and podcasts and things like that too. But anyway, so everybody's in kind of a cost cutting kind of mindset right now. So, if it's going to cost them a lot more, or maybe even not that much more, but it means, okay, we have this article in English. Do we need a native speaker to go through it? Well, no, we need to cut costs this year. So now we don't need a proofreading right now, or we don't need proofreading this year or whatever. Right. So right next door to where I live is a much richer country, Austria. And I haven't done this, but I've had this idea. What if I started a meetup group of international communicators in Austria, meaning that I would go to Austria or to Vienna, say once a month. Obviously, it would take, organizing and finding speakers, right? So to give something back to people, but to, create a place wherever you are, where you can network with people, and then maybe you enable them to learn something as well. So some kind of case study or something about the communications industry, right? And then all of a sudden, you have created, or it does take some legwork, definitely, but I think it's a way to spread your wings quite a bit in a new place wherever you are. Gives you the chance, to meet other people, peers, and potentially decision makers too. So for me as a freelance person, something like that could be very valuable, just to meet communication managers and things from other companies.
Smart. I think so.
Maybe could be a start for you to just from meeting people, right? So you definitely. I mean, it's definitely about the relationship. So yeah, you might not get work from it from a few months or something, but just in terms of being a presence within the the space, the communication space. Already, it's like especially if you're the founder of this entity, you're making a difference, and people are aware of you.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I'm a part of an organization, and of course, it's a membership organization, so there's some fees associated with it. But I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's called the International Association of Business Communicators, and so they're obviously international, so they're all over, and they do exactly that thing that you're talking about, Drew. But it's more of a it's more of a structured thing where there's dues and things like that. So yeah, I think definitely professional networking. I think the idea about the online portfolio, I think those are great ideas. But I also think that, just how we were talking about how the market has changed with how we work post COVID, or I think we should think about, like, when we do get in positions to hire talent, I think we should try to change the scope of that too, because I think obviously everybody wants somebody competent that's going to help move their business or organization initiatives forward. But I think too, sometimes, like, people just don't have the experience because they're students, because they just haven't been given a chance. And it's just like, we need to, I think also about, okay, are we hiring a good person that has the capability to learn and to do? Also, because I do think a lot of things you can teach, but if you have somebody that's a good worker with good work ethics, with good integrity, you can teach them the skills that you need to get the job done. And so I think a lot of times companies do look like, oh, I want somebody with an MBA and with this many years experience, and and they have this bulleted list of the perfect person, but maybe you just need to pick a good person that's willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work. You know what I mean? I wish we could change that mindset in the business world a little bit.
I think there's definitely a lot of leapfrogging when it comes to this whole online world, and as we were talking about before, the generations, right? So I think that maybe younger generations have sensed some of the barriers and have just totally just forget about it. I'm going to do things my way, and they astound us many times now at the capabilities that we're not even aware of the potential sometimes.
Well, I'm going to agree with you, Melissa. We spend a lot of time hiring people, either in the film industry or in the academic industry, and attitude, work ethic, showing up on time, sort of respect for others and themselves, and then we'll teach them how to become a grip or a gaffer or even an assistant director or something bigger. It's possible. And I totally agree with that. And Drew, what you just said is true, because of the newer generations that are coming in are really dynamic and go-getter. The Gen Z people are amazing. They really are. The jury's out on millennials, but the Gen Z people are really amazing. They really are.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. They got a lot of cool ideas.
What Ping, just in your immediate social sphere, have you been meeting a lot of people?
Well, I did have some interviews, and I think that's great experience. Yeah. But except for that, I think I would really love to see the event you were talking about happening in this country or in countries nearby, so I can visit. That would be a really good opportunity to get those chances, those opportunities flowing, because the reason why that I'm working still for my previous employer is that they couldn't find a good replacement. So that they still need my help. They still need my support. So that's why I'm still working. But just imagine, Apple is a company. They have their office in Shanghai, and the huge population in Shanghai, the young populations in there. That's enormous. But they couldn't find a person. That's because there's like such a high wall between them and those people who need this information. But the thing is that they couldn't get the information to the right people. They couldn't get them together and then tell them how awesome this opportunity is. So that's the thing, is that they need someone like 10,000 miles away to support them. Yeah.
I like to something that something you just said, Ping, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it's worth investigating. It might already exist. It might already exist in Holland. There might be go to I'm part of like at least 5 different groups called Atlanta Film Production People. Just do a search on Facebook of Holland communication specialists, and see what comes up and join those groups. There's lots of work, lots of people asking for different people for different things in my particular business, and it might be the same for everyone here, including in Dallas and in South Africa. You should. It becomes, you can be instantly part of a community, even though you've only been there for 2 months.
Yeah, I would definitely search for that.
Right. Excellent idea. So, team members.
It's getting to be time. I have to go back to work.
Yeah. Back to something, huh? I needed, my dogs are pestering me. What about just some I know some of us have already shared what we're thinking about for 2023, but does anybody else want to talk about what are your hopes and dreams for 2023? Isabel?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting time for me. It was time for a change. I'm not afraid. I had to rethink what it is that I would like to do. Sometimes it's really difficult when you're a generalist like I am in communications. And I have to be true to myself and know that I can't go work in the bank industry or in straight corporate or in retail, or that's not me. I need to know every day that I'm making a change, that I'm making the world a better place. And I think we talked about how do you convince people that you can do the job, and I think something that's difficult for me, I've told you I've worked in different industries, from culture and heritage and tourism to agriculture and the wine industry. And now I've applied for communication jobs in wildlife conservation, animal welfare, and sometimes how to get through and tell people that you would fit in that world. And I think that's where a portfolio is really important. And my children are both in high school next year. It feels like it's a new world for all of us, and time to think not local but global. Think about, now I know all 4 of you all live in different places, and I think that's wonderful, and we should embrace that. And my children, they are world citizens from the moment they were born, because of the way they operate, and how my son has more friends, he's 15, in the rest of the world than he has in South Africa, in his own town. And we should embrace that and learn from one another. And I'm very excited. And Ping, I'll also send you, I'll connect with you, I'll connect with all of you, but Ping, I've got another suggestion for you as well, of something that might be able to help. So and also something that I'm also thinking of is offering workshops. We were making jokes about middle age, but that also means we do have some credit, and I think workshops, whether it's a half-day workshop or a one-day workshop, and whether you do it on your own, whether you work with other organizations, I think it's a powerful way to put yourself out there as a specialist in a certain industry, and whether you do it for free or you find someone to sponsor it to go and do it at a school, and that's the way. And I really want to start doing that in 2023 as well.
Excellent.
Very cool idea.
Yeah.
Leverage our age.
Right. What about you, Ping? How can you imagine what's it going to be like for you a year from now? I'm sure you're going to have some huge changes, no?
Yeah. Well, I just have a simple wish, which is get a good job and then work with great people. Yeah, that's my simple wish. And probably me in a year, I hope that I have my own home, that I don't have to rent this place. And I hope that my cats will be healthy and happy. Yeah, and I hope that everyone can live a happy life.
It's a good wish.
Excellent.
What about you, Melissa?
Well, I hope I can keep up with the pace.
You got a long
of my
commute coming
industry.
up here soon.
Yeah, and just keep growing, and my career keep growing as a person, and keep making valuable contributions, and that doesn't necessarily have to be business related, just overall, only adding things that can be helpful to the circumstance. And something that I hope for, I mean, I don't know how often you do this, Drew, but I'd love to get together again. This has been lovely.
I would too. Yeah, no, exactly. This was, of course, I had grand designs when I saw how many people were supposedly going to show up. But I mean, yeah, I'm really more of a quality over quantity person anyway. So it's like, as I said, I was scared I was going to have to do 5-minute interviews with 100 people or something. So I'm much more comfortable with this. But no, it's a great idea, and yeah, we can see how everybody's doing periodically if everyone's up for that.
Little check-in.
Yeah. All right.
I would like to. My last thing, if anyone would be interested in seeing that African movie that I mentioned at the beginning, I did put my email in, and I can send a link to anyone who wants to see that.
Cool.
That's available and it's free. At least if you get it from me, anyway.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I want to thank Drew Bacci, which means Uncle Drew in Hungarian, and Drew Bacci for running this. It's a really great idea, Drew, and I'm really glad that I got to meet everybody here.
Yeah, me too.
Likewise.
Thanks everybody for showing up. I wish you all the best, a fabulous 2023, and I wish, I wish peace of mind for everybody too. Just I hope we all can maintain focus on the good things, and hopefully be able to filter out a lot of the noise. And I sense that you're all very good people, and I'm very grateful for that.
All right. Thank you all very much. It's nice to meet everybody.
This edition of Making Waves is coming to an end. Thanks so much for everybody for taking part, and hope to see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Peace. Bye.
Bye.